welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing our brand new set, Coaster Critters, its coordinating dies, and its slide-on over add-on die. So first up, we have the big roller coaster from this set, which I just love, and then this little smaller piece of a roller coaster that you can layer to create the illusion of a larger roller coaster. We have three cute little critters. We've got our fox, our bear, and our bunny, and those little critters can ride in this coaster car or hang out in this fun little booth. We also have some tiny coaster cars in both a single version and then a triple version where they're all attached. We have a cute little balloon that they can hold, a flag for the top of the roller coasters or for them to hold too, a set of 3 balloons, and a cotton candy because every fair needs some cotton candy. We have a cute little ticket. We have a heart and then a tiny little smiley face that you can add to some of the objects like the balloon. We have some words here, tickets, games, and food, and that's so that you can change what type of booth the little characters are going to. And then we have some really fun sentiments. So we have life with you is thrilling, and then we also have a thrilling birthday or have a happy birthday. We have enjoy the ride, and then we also have life is full of ups and downs. Let's roll with it together. We also have a little exclamation point that you can add to the end of your phrases. Now I'm going to use my Copic markers to add some color to these fun images. And I think it's really fun to color these roller coasters in kind of crazy colors. Of course, you could do the traditional gray or even wood for a wooden roller coaster, but I think it's really fun to give them nice summery colors like a turquoise or a bright purple and just have a lot of fun with it and maybe match it to your pattern paper. Here I'm coloring in my little fox, and these are my favorite colors for foxes, the YR24 and YR27. I just think it gives them such a cute look. And then I'm going to color in a little brown bear, but he could be gray or white. You can kind of change him around depending on what you need for your card. And then next up we have that cute little bunny, and I'm going to be using these colors because it matches the bunnies that we have in our neighborhood, that nice little light brown. Now the coaster car is another place where you can have a lot of fun adding colors, and I always like to make the stripe kind of the darker of the colors. And then here you can see that I'm using the same markers to color in some of the other images like the balloons so that everything coordinates really nicely. So here you'll see I'm doing the same concept with the other coasters. So I'm coloring them in one color and then kind of using that color in some other images as well. With these, I'm trying to keep the coloring pretty simple because they're really, really tiny and I don't want to color outside the lines. There you can see I'm adding my darkest marker and then blending out into light, dark, and then to light. Trying to keep it really nice and simple. So dark and then out to light. I'm laying down my lightest marker first to kind of wet the paper to make it easier to blend my light and dark markers together. There you can see how nicely they're going to blend out and really give that kind of nice wooden look to that ticket counter. Now I've got to color in the wheels on my little coasters there, and so I'm just using the same markers for all of both the large and small coasters. I wanted to have kind of a rainbow detail to the top of this ticket booth. And so I'm using 2 markers for each one, adding kind of the dark and then blending out with the light, just nice and quick and easy. Now here are the coordinating dies for this set, which you can bend apart at the tabs, or you can use your wire snips to separate them. We're going to take those dies and line them up with our stamped images. I like to hold them in place with some low tack tape like Post-it note tape, and then I'm going to go ahead and run it through my die cut machine and then pop them out of the dies. And this is one of my favorite parts, is kind of peeling them all off and getting my little die cut images out of the dies because they just look so cool and fun. So here is a look at all of the images in this set. There's so many things that you can mix and match. So here you can see I can put my little characters into the ticket booth or add them to the little coaster car and add the coaster car to the little roller coasters. And then they can hold the different things and you can kind of layer things depending on how you think it might look on your card. There's just so many fun possibilities. Here I'm taking my white gel pen and I'm just adding some fun little white gel pen accents to all of my images. People on our design team like Elena and Audrey love doing this, and I've been really having fun doing it like them too. I'm taking the largest stitched rectangle and I'm die cutting some white cardstock, and then here I've got the new itsy bitsy polka dot backdrop, and I'm going to layer that stitched rectangle right into the backdrop, and I'm going to wrap that tape around the edges to hold that paper right into the die. I'm going to run it through my die cut machine, and now I'm going to have a cute little polka dot backdrop with a stitch detail. I've also cut a piece of sticky note cardstock to be the same size as the backdrop. I've layered some glue on the back, and then I'm going to layer that on top, giving the illusion of having cute little yellow polka dots on my white background. This stitch scalloped rectangle frame is one of our new dies as well, and so I'm going to die cut that from some white cardstock. And then I'm going to go through my Watercolor Wishes pad and find the perfect color. So I'm kind of looking through all of the different colors, and I'm going to end up settling on the birthday candles color, the lighter version, which is a nice kind of turquoisey sky color. And then I'm going to trim down that piece to 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. And that's going to be the perfect size to layer behind this little stitched rectangle frame. So I'm just going to add some glue to the back of that and then layer this piece on the back, giving this cute little kind of sky appearance to set my scene in. Now I'm going to take my roller coaster pieces, and here you're going to see how to use that little smaller piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the smaller piece in first, and then we're going to layer the larger piece on top. And that's going to make it look like there's kind of a lot of roller coaster going on. So that one in the back is in the background, and you can kind of ride this roller coaster all around, which I think is a really, really fun look. Then next up, I am going to layer my little characters into their little coaster cars. So I'm adding some adhesive on the back of the coaster cars, and then I can just layer my little characters right inside. And once you layer the little character inside, it is so cute. Oh my goodness, I can't take how they've got the little arms up and the bunny with his ears floating back because he's going so fast in the coaster. It makes me giggle every time I see it. I just think it's just so adorable. So now that I've got all those guys ready to go, I'm going to start layering some pieces on. So I'm going to take that smaller coaster car and layer that on the back part of the roller coaster. And then these guys, the bigger ones, are going to be in the front. And I'm going to layer those on with some foam dots. And so they're going to be going all the way around the roller coaster, which I think is so cute to have all 3 of the characters in the coaster cars on the front of the card. Then I'm going to give them all something to hold. So I added some foam dots to the cotton candy, the triple balloon, and the single balloon, and I'm just going to layer those in their little paws there. And I just think it's just so cute and adds a lot of bright, fun color to the card. I'm creating a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4 1/4, and then I'm going to layer that fun polka dot backdrop that we created earlier on top, and then we'll layer our fun scene with some foam squares on top of that. Next up, I'm going to take some paper also from Watercolor Wishes, but in that yellow color there, to kind of coordinate with the blue one we used earlier. And I'm going to stamp Enjoy the Ride in some black ink. And then I'm going to take one of my little sentiment banners here and kind of layer it over top the sentiment, hold it in place with some low tack tape, run it through my die cut machine, and have a cute little banner that I can add to my card. I'm going to kind of eyeball and see where I would like it to end up on my card. And then I'm going to make a little pencil mark at the area that I would like to trim off. And I'm just going to trim that off in my paper trimmer. Then all I need to do is put one little foam square on the end and then some tape runner on the other side, and I can layer that on top. And I just think it's so cute, and I love how it coordinates with the yellow balloons that we have going on in the card too. Now this is a gorgeous card by Elena, so thank you so much, Elena, for letting me recreate this for the video. Next up, I thought it would be fun to create kind of a fun summer night sky for these roller coasters, and I'm going to use the slider add-on as well. And so I'm using picked raspberry, wilted violet, and faded jeans, and I'm going to add the colors to about 1/3 of each part of the card. So they're each going to take up 1/3 of the card, but then once the 2 colors meet, I'm going to alternate back and forth between the colors. So I'm going to layer that purple over a little bit, and then I'll go back to my picked raspberry to just blend out the edges so that those 2 really look like a nice seamless blend. So there you'll see I'm going to add that faded jeans color, the blue color, and then I'll go back into my purple to blend them all together. And I'm going to keep going back and forth between the colors until I think it looks really nice. And then to give it more of a night sky look, I'm going to take my black soot distress ink and go around all of the edges. And that little darkness around the edges really makes such a big difference for giving it that kind of night look. And I feel like it kind of makes all of the colors blend in together really well too. Now, once I get that black all around the edges, I am going to add some water to kind of create some kind of stars and also kind of a firework effect in the sky. So I've got my little spray bottle here, and I'm just spraying water over it, and that water is going to react with those Distress Oxide inks and create the coolest look. So there you can see it reacting. I could watch this happen all day. It's so much fun. Like, look at how cool that looks. So I'm just spraying more and more until I think it kind of looks perfect. I always stop right before I think I should stop because I always go too far with the splatter. So right here is when I'm already telling myself, okay, Kelly, you better stop. Okay, all right, I like it. So now you can see how fun that is looking. Now it's time to die cut my slider add-on. And so I'm using the actual die cut of the roller coaster as a guide for the angle that I should place my slider in. So I'm actually taking that die and kind of butting it up against the roller coaster die cut so that it's at the perfect angle. I'll run it through my die cut machine, die cut that track, and I'm also going to save the little insert piece for later. Now here I have my stitched fireworks dies, and I thought these went perfectly with this coaster set. It goes with the whole kind of amusement park theme. So I'm using the largest and the smallest of these little stitched fireworks dies, and you can see it's really subtle, but it's really, really cool. So I'm gonna layer in that little small one there and then add one more to kind of fill in this sky, and I think those fireworks look so cool with our Distress Oxide sky. So now it's time to add some foam to the back of our card to create our slider mechanism. So here I'm taking my foam tape and I'm doubling it up because having that double height makes sliders work really, really well. Then I'm cutting it down into thin strips so that I'm going to be able to kind of run this all along my slider piece. Now you're going to notice that our slider track is right up against the edge. There really isn't any room for tape. That's okay. You can actually kind of skip that part. So you're going to see how we do this. I've got one little thin strip there going right up to that track. And then I'm going to put another thin strip on the other side. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to skip the track and then put another foam behind it. And it'll actually be strong enough to be able to do that. So there you see I'm kind of skipping the track so that that penny can still move freely. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well. And it's still going to work. It's still sturdy enough. And it's really awesome because then you can have a track that really goes end to end on your card. Now I'm going to fill in the foam on the rest of the card, and here you can see that I've placed my penny there to make sure that my foam isn't going to be in the way of my penny moving in the track. So there you can see the penny has plenty of place to move. So now I can remove all of that liner pieces, and then I'm going to line it on top of a piece of black cardstock. To help our little track blend in with our card, I'm going to take that little insert piece that we saved earlier, add some adhesive to the back, and just pop that right back in the track. And you'll see that that makes the track look completely continuous and it really blends into our sky. Here we've taken that same size outside-in stitch rectangle as that distress sky that we created, and we've die cut it from some noble fir cardstock. I just made a little tick mark, trimmed that piece down, and we're going to layer that down at the bottom to be kind of like the ground or the grass for our roller coaster. Next, I'm going to take our roller coaster and add a bunch of adhesive to the back and line it right up with that track. Then here I'm taking my powder tool and adding powder into the track. This removes any stickiness that might be there and it really helps the penny slide really well into the track. Then here I'm going to take my penny and just drop that right into the track, and then I'm going to trim down a piece of that doubled up foam that we used earlier to fit right there in the penny and right into that track. Once I've got that foam on there, I'm going to take my powder tool and run it all along the sides of the foam, removing any excess stickiness so that that penny and that foam are going to move really nicely in that track. Now here I've got my cute little bear in my roller coaster car, and I'm going to attach that to the foam on the penny. And now the roller coaster car is going to be able to move in that track. I'm going to take my cute little bunny and add him to my little game booth there. And then I'm going to add another cute little fox and balloons just to kind of finish setting the scene below. I've got a sentiment banner here that I'm going to die cut from some black licorice cardstock, and I'm stamping in Versamark ink my sentiment, and then I'm going to add some white heat embossing powder to that sentiment, and then heat it up with my heat tool. And I love the Life with You is thrilling, and my husband's and my 11th anniversary is coming up, so this is going to be a perfect anniversary card for him. So here I'm going to do that same idea. I'm going to put my banner where I think it would look nice, make a little tick mark with my pencil, and then trim off that edge, add some adhesive to my banner, and layer that onto the card. I'm kind of layering it a little bit lower there so that you can really see that firework. I'm taking some black cardstock to be my card base, which is a standard size at 5.5 by 4.25. I'm going to add a bunch of adhesive to that card base and then layer my whole slider piece, the front of the card, right on top. And then here you can see the little roller coaster car move in that track. Oh my goodness, it is so cute. It makes me smile so much. I just love it. I just think this card would make anyone's day, and I cannot wait to see what kind of sliders you guys create with this. So after making this pretty complicated slider card, I thought it would be nice to make a more simple card with this set. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some really rainbow paper, and I'm going to use the B side of this paper, the kind of green, and I'm going to die cut one of our stitched hillside backdrop landscapes here. To make my sky nice and simple, I'm trimming down a piece of Gotta Have gingham paper, which I think is going to look really cool with that green stripe background. I'm adding some adhesive to the back of those hills, and then I'm going to drop in my roller coaster pieces. And there you can see that shorter roller coaster piece and how cool it looks layered behind a hill. Here I'm going to take one of the bigger roller coasters and layer that behind and then just trim off any excess to kind of create this look of a ton of roller coasters at the amusement park. I'm going to stamp the Have a Thrilling Birthday sentiment, which is just so cute and fun. And then here I'm going to stamp the tickets onto my little booth, and I love the little rainbow top to the booth. Now here I'm using one of the new bunting borders, and I've die cut it out of white, and then I've die cut a bunch of cardstock colors with the plain pennant border. And what I'm going to do is just take a little glue there and add it to each of these and put them in rainbow order onto my little border here. And that's going to go along with the rainbow order that I have going in the ticket booth. So I just love the idea of this cute, happy, summery rainbow. Once this is all done, I'm going to add some glue dots in the corners of that frame and then just attach my little banners there. And then I'll trim off any excess that I have, and you'll see just how cute that is looking. Next up, I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of everything in this scene and then layer it on top of that Gotta Have gingham sky. Now, once I have everything layered, I can start to decorate with my little stamped and die cut images. So I'm just going to be kind of adding some guys into different coasters, playing around with those little pennant flags and the tinier coaster cars. And you'll see I have a bunch of die cut images there that I'm going to mix and match until I have a scene that I really like. So I'm going to add that cute little fox into his little ticket booth, and I'm going to use some pop dots on that guy right there. And then I'll also put some pop dots on my cute little bunny in the coaster holding the balloon. And then I'm taking those little rainbow flags there and also some coaster cars in rainbow color order as well to kind of go along with our cute little rainbow theme here. And so I'm just going to layer those all into the scene as well. Now I'm creating a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25. I'll add some adhesive to that card base, and then I can layer my whole scene on top. And this card is just so cute and happy, it just makes me smile. Now, this was actually kind of a harder version of one that I had created earlier, so I wanted to show you how to make it even easier for mass production. On the one on the right, I used pattern paper for the pennant so that I only had to die cut one thing, and I just left out those little flags and roller coaster cars. And you can see how the card is still really, really cute, but it's really, really great for mass production. So you can take card designs you have and make them a little bit more simple so that you could have a bunch of cards in your stash. And then here is a look at the 3 cards that we created today, 3 totally different looks, and I love that one of them is interactive too. And then now we have some incredible cards from the design team. So this card by Audrey is just gorgeous, and those fireworks inspired me to use fireworks in my card today. I love this card by Letitia, and her gorgeous watercolored bunting borders back there are just beautiful. Shari created a scallop box card pop-up with this set, which is just so much fun and so cool. And I love Jen's interactive slider card. It's just adorable and so happy with that rainbow pattern paper. Here's the card by Elena that inspired me to create my card today. I just love the yellow and the red together for summer. It's so happy. And then I love how Elise used the peekaboo backdrop to create some really fun amusement park scenes. This sky by Kay, oh my goodness, I could look at it all day. It is just absolutely stunning. And then I just love the sky created by Lizzie too. That green glow in the bottom is just gorgeous. I love how Melissa used her roller coasters on a scrapbook layout. I think it's such a cool addition for fun amusement park themed layouts. And then I love this slider card by Yanea. That purple roller coaster just makes me smile. So I cannot wait to see what you guys create with Coaster Critters and the slider add-on. So make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye.